Here we are in the Unionvale Fire Department. I'm with Jim Smith. Jim, when did you join the fire department?
Oh, way back in 1966.
And where was that?
Down in Westchester, Ossining. Actually, I had to wait till I was 18 years old. So I guess you can do the math. 1966, yeah.
And when did you come up to Unionvale?
I moved up to Unionvale about 12 years later. So I've got like over 40 years up here.
Okay, that's awesome. And why did you join, Jim?
Why did I join? Well, I joined because basically fire company was in my family. It was kind of like a family deal. From the time I was able to walk, I was kind of like hanging out in the firehouse. My father was an officer down in Ossining way back then. So it's kind of, that's how I grew up. Grew up in the firehouse, pretty much.
How about his dad?
His dad, I don't believe so. I didn't know too much about his dad. He kind of passed on early. But as far as I know, he did not. But yeah, I always had the interest. And as soon as I got of age, I joined up the pumper company.
That's great. What was your most unique experience as a member of the fire department?
Most unique experience? Well, I guess there's a lot of unique experiences because there is a lot of experiences we go through. I think I probably had, in the short time I was a member down in Westchester, I've probably seen more fires than up this way because our little town here is pretty quiet. But we had some pretty good active fires down there when I was my younger days. I was interior, okay, so we had plenty of interior action. But the one that kind of sticks up in my mind was just recently up here. We had because we not only do fires, we do rescue. And we had this young gentleman had the family car out one night and went off the road. I think he was a fairly new driver. And he went down off the road and crashed into a tree, smashed the car up like real bad. He was very lucky he didn't get hurt too bad. But we get up there and he couldn't get out of the car. It was, really mangled up. So we cut the door off, cut the roof off and everything. He still couldn't get out because his feet were stuck underneath, And we cut the pedals out and we got him out. And he was okay, sent to the hospital. About a month later, we get a call from the family. And they wanted to meet everybody that was at the call. So initially it was like, oh, what did we do wrong here? Are we in trouble? But no, they all came down and they wanted to meet everybody and they brought us down cookies, they brought us down cakes. And it was really a very pleasant experience. They were very grateful for everybody that was there and kind of like, that's kind of like why we do it. Something like that. They ask you like, why you want to be a fireman? Well, there you go. If you can do something like that, help them out like that, that's pretty good.
Okay. What was the biggest fire you ever fought? Do you remember any?
Oh, absolutely. There's a picture in this firehouse, probably on the other wall there. The rubber company over in Dover, Polytech. It was a recycled rubber. And we got called to that, and
that was New Year's Day, right?
It was New Year's Day.
Yeah, exactly. I remember that.
It was New Year's Day, and I was driving a truck. We got called to go over the hill to relocate, and we got to the top of the hill and it looked like a volcano. The black smoke was coming up, and of course they sent us to the scene. And I think half the county was up there over a period of like a week or maybe even more.
And it was cold, right?
It was cold. The black smoke was going out, and particles was falling down out of the smoke. And yeah, that was pretty big. That was a big deal.
The hoses freezing to the ground, right?
Big deal, yeah.
Okay. What was the most serious incident you ever participated in?
Serious incidents are probably, I'd say the car accidents that are very, like a fatal. We've had a couple of them. We've had, people having medical problems, in front of their kids and stuff. And that's really, that's tough to take. You remember them calls,
Any fatal fires, house fires?
Yeah, actually, I only know of one, and it was actually when I was chief. back in probably around 1990. when I was chief. We had it was a mobile home on one of the farms. It was the farm workers, you know. And it was like totally involved when we got there, and unfortunately, one of the workers was still in there.
Okay,
As far as I know, it's the only fatal we've had in town.
that's good. What is the biggest difference you have seen in the fire department from when you first joined until today?
The biggest difference? Well, there was a lot of difference. I mean, I'm talking, you know, rubber coats we had. Probably one of the biggest things is our breathing apparatus. I'm really giving you my age now. When I first joined, we used to use actually a filter mask. Okay, it was a box up on top of the truck, and we put the mask on, and it was actually a canister. And that's all you needed, because the fires back then are different than the fires now. They were cleaner fires. So a little filter mask, because that's all you needed. I mean, obviously I'm still here, it worked, okay? If I used that now, I'd probably be dead, because of the way that the fires are now. But that's probably the biggest change, is the way we breathe our air in a fire.
Okay. What difference have you seen in the equipment during your membership?
Well, yeah, big difference in equipment. I mean, it's like buying a car, you know. They keep coming out with you know, new ideas and more comfort. I think that lately the biggest thing is the lighting. I mean, the lighting with the LED, it's amazing. We have a truck that's only like 10 years old downstairs, and we thought it was great. But the trucks that you buy now with the lighting, you don't even need generators anymore. These things that run on 12 volts, and they blind you. And when you're out there at night working out in the roads and stuff, it's really nice to have some good lighting. That's probably one of the biggest improvements I've seen. It's just the lighting.
What difference have you seen in the apparatus from when you first started until today?
Well, again, a lot of it is convenience stuff. Everything was all manual, you know, the gearing, you know, and the way the truck works. Now everything is electronic, which is good and bad. It makes it very easy for, you know, some of the older guys, so they don't have to run around doing all this physical stuff. We just hit buttons, you know. You want to drop a porta tank down, you hit a button. You know, you want to get a ladder, you hit another button, and the ladder lowers down so you can reach it instead of having to go up and grab it. You know, it's all good stuff, but unfortunately, it's all electronics, and you do have problems with electronics. But other than that, there's a lot of nice features now that make it a lot easier for operators of the apparatus.
Which is good, right?
Yep.
Okay. What positions have you held in the fire department?
Pretty much all of them, on the firementic side anyway. I was never so much on the social end of it, like, you know, president and
Administrative side.
secretary, administrative, but I always loved the firematic end of it. So I've done everything. I started as a second lieutenant, first lieutenant, captain, assistant chief, first assistant chief, and chief. So I've been right through it all, and even did a little bit of commissioner stuff several years ago. So yeah, I've done them all. And right now I'm just past, call me the deputy chief, daytime deputy. So I'm just around during the day to take up the slack when there's nobody else around.
And how would you compare the brothership back when you first started till today?
I don't see a lot of difference in that. I mean, it was always a pretty tight-knit group. There's probably more of a turnover now. But other than that, you know, firefighters they're a different breed. You know, it's family. And they always were, as far as I'm concerned. The only thing is, like now, we get new people in, and they kind of like come and go a little bit more, I think. You know, as they grow up, problems with, you know, places to live, you know, depending on your town. So that's kind of an issue. But other than that, I don't see a lot of big difference.
Would you see the turnover is a lot more today than it was back 20 or 30 years ago?
I think so. Unfortunately, it is. Yeah, that's an issue.
Okay, Jim, I thank you for the interview and talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks.